Hello and welcome to Unacademy. CDS and Civil Services Examination, both conducted by UPSC. CDS was conducted a couple of days ago. Prelims would be conducted next month. If you're attempting Prelims 2026, please watch this video carefully, for I'm going to solve all the polity questions which appeared in the CDS examination a couple of days ago. That does not, however, mean that these questions would be repeated in the upcoming prelims examination. Even then, you should attempt all these questions with me, solve with me. Why? To understand the pattern, because sometimes the pattern of the polity questions which appear in the CDS may get repeated in the civil services prelims examination as well. So please watch this video carefully. Now is the time for revision. Now is the time for taking as many mocks as possible. And I don't have to reiterate and re-emphasize the importance and significance of taking mocks. But mocks should be taken which are of the same standard as UPSC. Nothing more, nothing less. And for that very reason, we are coming up with Unacademy's All India Prelims Test mock test number 7. If you attempt this test and you're scoring 105 to 110, consider yourself ready for the upcoming prelims examination. Because this is the time when you encounter a lot of doubts. Am I ready for this exam? Am I not ready? What else should I do? FOMO, so on and so forth. So if you need an answer to a simple question, whether or not you're ready for the upcoming prelims examination, take this test on the 19th of April. Score in the range of 105 to 110, that means you're ready for this exam. Even if you score less, that does not mean you need to give up. It just means that you need to work slightly harder. Let's get started and let's look at all these questions which appear in the series, beginning with question number 1. Which one among the following statements regarding the fundamental rights of the Constitution of India is not correct? And let me tell you something. Majority of these questions which we will discuss right now, you could solve these questions if you have understood the Bare Act. Just by reading and understanding the Bare Act, a majority of these questions you would be able to answer. I have already completed Bare Act in 3 lectures. These lectures are available on our YouTube channel. Please watch these 3 lectures before the prelims examination. Plus, I'm also coming up with a marathon session on Indian Polity where we will cover the entire syllabus of Indian Polity strictly for the prelims examination very soon towards the end of this month. So please wait for that. Which one among the following statements regarding fundamental rights is not correct? They provide for equality of opportunity in matters of public employment. This is correct. This is Article 16 of the Constitution. They guarantee freedom of conscience and free profession, practice and propagation of religion. That's also correct under Article 25. They prohibit discrimination on the grounds only of religion, race, caste. Park your thoughts. Wait. They are legally enforceable. Fundamental rights are legally enforceable. If your fundamental rights are violated, you can directly approach the court. Supreme Court under Article 32, High Courts under Article 226. Which means this is the right answer. Because fundamental rights prohibit discrimination on the grounds, yes, of religion, race, caste, but not only on these grounds. Religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth under Article 15. Descent and residence under Article 16. So what is the correct answer? C is the right answer. Question number 2. Consider the following statements regarding the amendment procedure under Article 368 of the Constitution of India. Constitutional amendment bills can be introduced in either house of the parliament. Correct. Either first in Rajya Sabha, then in Lok Sabha, or first in Lok Sabha, then in Rajya Sabha, in either of the 2 houses. Correct. Constitutional amendment bills should be passed in each house by a majority of the total membership of that house and by a majority of not less than 2/3 of the members present and voting. Special majority flavor 2 that's required to amend the Constitution. Statement correct. All constitutional amendment bills must be ratified by the legislature of not less than 1/2 of the states? No, not all constitutional amendment bills. Only those constitutional amendment bills which affect the federal nature of Indian polity. For example, if you have to amend Article 368, if you have to change the manner and method of president's election, if you have to amend Schedule 7 of the Constitution, so on and so forth. Only for those federal provisions, ratification by one half of the states is required. Not all constitutional amendment bills, which means 1 and 2A is the right answer. Let's look at question number 3. Consider the following statements regarding the qualifications of a person for appointment as a judge of the Supreme Court of India. You have to be the citizen of India. Then you have to meet either of the 3 qualifications. You should be a judge of one or more high courts in succession for 5 years. You should have been an advocate practicing in one or more high courts for 10 years. Or in the eyes of the President of India, you are a distinguished jurist. The person has to be for at least 5 years a judge of a high court or of 2 or more high courts in succession. Correct? The person has to be for at least 10 years an advocate of a high court or of 2 or more such high courts in succession. Plain reading. The person is, in the opinion of the Chief Justice of India, a distinguished jurist. In the opinion of the President of India. 1 and 2, which means C is the right answer. Let's look at question number 4. Which one among the following pairs of article and provision with reference to the Constitution of India is not correctly matched? That's why I told you, look at all these questions. You could have easily answered these questions by reading and understanding the bare act. Article 243A talks about Gram Sabha. It does. 243B talks about Constitution of Panchayats. Yes. 243C talks about composition of Panchayats. Yes. 243D talks about election to Panchayats. No, that's something which is spoken by Article 243 capital K. Article 243D deals with reservation of seats. So which means D is the right answer. Let's look at question number 5. Which one among the following items is not included in the state list of the Constitution of India? Public order is in state list. Land is in the state list. Local government also is in the state list. You may be confused about economic and social planning, which means this is not covered under state list. It is covered under list 3, which is what we call the concurrent list of Schedule 7. Let's look at question number 6. Which one among the following pairs of articles of the Constitution of India and special provisions given therein is not correctly matched? Again, article numbers, the bare act. 371A deals with Nagaland. It does. 371B deals with Assam. It does. 371C deals with Manipur. It does. 371D deals with special provision for the state of Sikkim. No, it deals with Andhra and Telangana. Sikkim, I think, is covered under 371 capital F. And what is that special status? The Legislative Assembly will have not less than 30 seats. Otherwise, what is the strength of the Legislative Assembly? Minimum we can have 60 MLAs. Maximum it can go up to is 500. But a special provision for Sikkim, it can have not less than 30 MLAs. D is not correctly matched. That's the right answer. Question number 7. Consider the following statements about the powers of the governor of a state. The governor has the power to appoint the Advocate General on the advice of the Chief Minister. Advocate General holds office during the pleasure of the governor. Yes, doctrine of pleasure. The members of the State Public Service Commission are appointed by the governor. Absolutely yes, including the chairperson. The members of the State Public Service Commission can be removed by the President of India on the report of the governor. 1, 2 and 3 are the correct. D is the right answer. If you have to remove the chairperson or the members of the Public Service Commission, that president has the power to remove. But if the allegation is that of misbehavior, then this matter has to be referred to the Supreme Court. And basis the inquiry by the Supreme Court, the president can remove the members and the chairperson of the Public Service Commission. There are other grounds of removal as well. Other grounds where, for example, you have indulged in paid employment outside your office and various other conditions. On those conditions, there is no need for a Supreme Court inquiry. Supreme Court inquiry is required if the allegation is that of a misbehavior. So question number 7, D, 1, 2, 3 is the right answer. Question number 8, which one of the following acts is correctly paired with the year of its enactment? Consumer Protection Act, Right to Information, Scheduled Tribes and Other Traditional Forest Dwellers, Recognition of the Foreign Forest Rights Act 2006, Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act. All these laws were in the news. If you want to know the right answer is C. Consumer Protection Act was enacted in 2019 after amending the 1986 law. Right to Information Act was enacted in 2005. POCSO, which was in the news all throughout the year, was enacted in the year 2012. So C is the right answer. Question number 9. Which of the following statements related to National Commission for Backward Classes is or are correct? It is a constitutional body. Yes, it is. Previously, it was a statutory body created by the law enacted by the Parliament in 1993. But now it's a constitutional body. Which amendment made it a constitutional body? 102nd Constitutional Amendment Act. The National Commission for Backward Classes Act 1993 has been repealed. Correct. Since it became a constitutional body. The Secretary, Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Government of India, heads the commission. No, they have a chairman who is appointed, somebody who is well versed, who is from socially and educationally backward class of citizens, somebody respected by that community. So 1 and 2, which makes A, is the right answer. Question number 10. Which of the following acts or behavior shall amount to sexual harassment as per Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace, which is also known as the POSH Act of 2013? Simple question. Verbal remarks of sexual nature, non-verbal conduct of sexual nature, physical conduct of sexual nature, all these amount to sexual harassment at workplace. POSH Act. Question number 11. Arrange the following dignitaries in the correct sequence with respect to their rank precedence as per the table of precedence approved by the President of India. The warrant of precedence, as we call it. Firstly, it has to be what? The governor within their respective state, then followed by former presidents, then the deputy prime minister, then the Chief Justice of India, which means 2, 3, 4, 1, which means B is the right answer. This is the warrant of precedence. President, Vice President, Prime Minister, governors, former presidents, Deputy Prime Minister, Chief Justice, Speaker, then the Cabinet Ministers, which includes Leader of the Opposition in the Lok Sabha as well as the Rajya Sabha. So this question has been previously asked in UPSC Prelims examination as well. These were the 11 questions asked in polity in the CDS examination. Let me know how many did you get it right. And all the best for your upcoming prelims examination. Thank you for watching.